Good afternoon, Texas bikers and bikers all across the country. This is Texas Biker Radio, Scattered Shooting Friday, and I'm here to tell you about all the mess we see going on out there. And the first thing we want to do in our Scattered Shooting show is to tell you not to buy what the media is selling out there. Now, the media is trying to put great pressure on Fox News and others to call the race for Joe Biden. Well, we're saying, hey, it's not over. They want us to believe Republicans gain seats in the House. The Republicans maintain Senate control, and yet they claim the people rejected Donald Trump. And as we saw voting halted on election night with Donald Trump in the lead, and then magically, overnight, he was losing. And everything was swinging in Biden's favor due to endless counting of mail-in ballots from God knows where. And you know, something is not right. And Fox News and others should not project Joe Biden as the winner with all the irregularities we see going on in voting, and especially in Democratic states where voting was stopped and now endless counting of mail-in ballots continues and continues and continues until they get the numbers they want. Now, Republicans have been kept out of the polling places. They weren't allowed to witness what was going on. And right now, we have Democrats. Let me tell you this. We've got Democrats that are taken to the streets. They're taken to the streets, and they're saying, hey, every vote counts. Well, every vote, they would include fraudulent ballots. They would include illegal ballots. They would include dead people voting by the thousands. Just think about it. Just think about it. They can't win without cheating. They can't win without cheating. And they want us to believe that everything was swinging Donald Trump's way. Blacks were voting in record numbers for Donald Trump. Hispanics were voting in record numbers for Donald Trump. Major gains were made in liberal cities across America, but yet not in these places like Georgia, Philadelphia, or Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, all these places. Just think about it. Just think about it. Was this election, I mean, if this stands, I mean, it looks as if Democrats, mainstream media, big tech, all are in line to pull off the biggest election day coup d'etat in history. It took 4 years of nonstop bashing of Donald J. Trump, 4 years of phony investigations, 4 years of bullshit to finally get him. If this stands, and that's a big if right now, the president has to prove the corruption that has gone on, and it's going to take time. And nobody should be claiming victory, especially those on the left. And they're pushing real hard for the media to do just that. Just think, the election of Joe Biden will put us in unknown territory. That's what they want us to believe, that Pennsylvania has been willing to put their livelihoods, their economy at stake for Joe Biden. Everyone he knows he's not the guy in charge and will not finish his term in office. Unlike Trump, We know deals have been made, and there's been corruption on a scale like we've never seen, and that will be what we will see going forward, corruption on major scales. And the question of where's Hunter, that's easy now. He's going to be free to roam around the country selling access to his dad and others. Just think, party elites could not stand the fact that an outsider was not beholden to them, was actually working for the people of this country. And that's for the first time in my life that I've had a president that has worked for me. I mean, in other words, President Trump was not in on the game and would not take part in their special get-rich-quick schemes. And as we all know, they can go there without nothing, and they can leave with millions. And Hunter Biden has showed us one of the schemes of many that they used to enrich themselves while in office for decade after decade. This election was more about personality and not policies that are good for the country. Just think about it. It was just weeks ago we quoted George Soros, who said, now is the time to strike. Now is the time to strike. That people in times of chaos, and that's what they were trying to do with all the mail-in ballots, with all the stuff about COVID. They were trying to create as much chaos as they could. George Soros, now is the time to strike, because people will do things that is not necessarily good for themselves. And this is certainly the case here. This is certainly the case. If this stands, the people will have voted for a unknown entity, a shell of a man that is not in control, and the people behind him, you don't even know who the hell they are. We had, and we still have, the world's #1 economy in spite of COVID and all the media hysteria over it all. The question now is, how long will it take to rip the #1 economy to shreds with pie-in-the-sky schemes by the crazies in the Democratic Party? The crazies think they are in charge, and we have emboldened them to no end. And Popeye says, stand by for heavy seas, guys. Stand by if this stands. Now just think. Moving on, the Senate. As of right now, Republicans still have the majority lead in the Senate. We're going to need it during the days and months ahead. It's the only way to slow down the disasters we see ahead. And just think, everybody, and I'm telling you now, any runoffs are crucial to maintain control in the Senate. Our work is not done, and getting the vote back out there is crucial. We must work harder. We must work harder. and work it out versus shock and awe. During his campaign, Joe Biden said, well, we'll work it out. We'll work it out. To that point, he was talking about fossil fuels and fracking. That is a disaster in an oil-based economy and an industry that provides billions in tax revenues. The crazy minions behind Joe Biden are not going to be satisfied with work it out. They're going to want shock and awe, a wave of change. Damn the country, damn the people, damn the Constitution. They want it now. And just think, in the 60s, when I was young, probably I think in the 4th grade, I remember my parents talking about President Kennedy. I remember them talking about the Democratic Party being the party of the working man. That is no longer the case. The parties have switched roles. The Republican Party stands as the sole protectors of the Constitution and the working men and women of this country. It's a role President Trump embraced and has shown the way for all Republicans to embrace that mantra, to keep up the fight. Fight till the end, just as he's doing now. Everybody, we got to fight to the end. Democrats are now the party of greed, the party of corruption, the party of corporatism, the party of immigrants, the party of criminals, and the party of America last. That list runs on and on. Let me show you something here. Let me show you something. You see this? This is Democrats out in the streets. They're out in the streets. Every vote counts, just like I was saying a minute ago. Every vote, even any mail-in ballot that comes in after the election day, any election ballot that may be illegal, any election ballot, check, count them all, and that's what they're doing, and that's how they're getting leads. It's corruption on a grand scale. It's what mail-in voting was. And so this is what we're seeing playing out. And we've got to stand up against it. We've got to find our own voice. Now, what you see, or what you have been seeing up here in this picture was the Right Side Broadcasting. The young troops out of Right Side Broadcasting are in front of the Philadelphia Convention Center, where not long ago the mayor of Philadelphia was talking about how wonderful the voting process has been in Pennsylvania, just how wonderful that the democracy is playing out right there, just blocks away from our country was born and the Constitution was written and the Constitution was signed into law. They're turning over in their frickin' graves, everybody. Our founders, they're turning over in their graves. They never envisioned shit like this. But I promise you, it's not over until it's over. We've got to find our voice. The great silent majority out there has to speak up. You've got to find your voice. And there are rallies that are going on across the country. Get behind them. Get out there. Speak up. Let your voice be heard that this, they claimed back 4 years ago, they claimed Donald Trump was not my president. And I'm here to tell you, Joe Biden and those behind him will never be my president as long as voting is handled the way it's handled. The corruption is allowed to exist. The media puts out false narratives again and again and again, and they're trying it today. Are you sick of it? Are you sick and tired of it as I am? We've got to regroup. We've got to come out hard. We've got to fight. 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 This is Butch Popeye Moss, Texas Biker Radio, Sons of Liberty Riders MC.